Hello everyone. As we are going through our audiobook series of Indian Polity, 6th edition by M. Lakshmikant, we are going to start with chapter 2 today. Chapter 2, Making of the Constitution, Demand for a Constituent Assembly. It was in 1934 that the idea of Constituent Assembly for India was put forward for the first time by M.N. Rao, a pioneer of communist movement in India. In 1935, the Indian National Congress (INC) for the first time officially demanded a constituent assembly to frame the Constitution of India. In 1938, Jawaharlal Nehru, on the behalf of INC, declared that the Constitution of Free India must be framed without outside interference by a constituent assembly elected on the basis of adult franchise. The demand was finally accepted in principle by the British government in what is known as the August Offer of 1940. In 1942, Sir Stafford Cripps, a member of the cabinet, came to India with a draft proposal of the British government on the framing of an independent constitution to be adopted after the World War II. The Cripps proposal was rejected by the Muslim League, which wanted India to be divided into two autonomous states with two separate constituent assemblies. Finally, a cabinet mission was sent to India. While it rejected the idea of two constituent assemblies, it put forth a scheme for the Constituent Assembly which more or less satisfied the Muslim League. Composition of the Constituent Assembly. The Constituent Assembly was constituted in November 1946 under the scheme formulated by a cabinet mission plan. The feature of the scheme were the total strength of the Constituent Assembly was to be 389. Out of those, 296 seats were to be allotted to British India and 93 seats to princely states. Out of 296 seats allotted to the British India, 292 members were to be drawn from the 11 governor provinces and 4 from the 4 chief commissioner provinces, 1 from each province and princely state or group of states in which of small states were to be allotted seats in proportion to the respective population. Roughly 1 seat was to be allotted for every million population. Seats allotted to each British province were to be divided among the three principal communities: Muslims, Sikhs, and General, all except Muslim and Sikhs in proportion to their population. The representatives of each communist were to be elected by the member of that community in the provincial legislative assembly, and voting was to be by the method of proportional representation by means of single transferable vote. The representative of the princely states were to be nominated by the head of the princely states. It is thus clear that the Constituent Assembly was to be partly elected and partly nominated body. Moreover, the members were to be indirectly elected by the members of the provincial assemblies, who themselves were elected on a limited franchise. The election to the Constituent Assembly for 296 seats allotted to the British India provinces were held in July-August 1946. The Indian National Congress won 208 seats, the Muslim League 73 seats, and the small groups and the independent got the remaining 15 seats. However, the 1993 seats allotted to the princely states were not filled as they decided to stay away from the Constituent Assembly. Although the Constituent Assembly was not directly elected by the people of India on the basis of adult franchise, the assembly comprised representatives from all sections of the Indian society: Hindus, Muslims, Sikhs, Parsis, Anglo Indians, Indian Christians, SCs and SCs, including women of all the sections. The assembly included all important personalities of India at that time, with exception of Mahatma Gandhi. Working of the Constituent Assembly. The Constituent Assembly held its first meeting on December 9, 1946. The Muslim League boycotted the meeting and insisted on separate state of Pakistan. The meeting was thus attended by only 211 members. Dr. Satyanandan Sinha, the oldest member, was elected as the temporary president of the assembly following the French practice. Later, Dr. Rajendra Prasad was elected as the president of the assembly. Similarly, both S.C. Mukherjee and B.T. Krishnamachari were elected as the vice president of the assembly. In other words, the assembly had two vice presidents. Objectives Resolution. On December 13, 1946, Jawaharlal Nehru moved the Historic Objectives Resolution in the Assembly. It laid down the fundamentals and philosophies of the constitutional structure. It read, "This Constituent Assembly declares its firm and solemn resolve to proclaim India as an independent sovereign republic and to draw up for her future governance a constitution wherein the territories that now comprise British India, the territories that now form the Indian states, and such other parts of India as are outside India, and the states as well as the other territories as are willing to be constituted into the independent sovereign India shall be a union of them all, wherein the said territories, whether with their present boundaries or with such others as may be determined by the Constituent Assembly and thereafter, according to the law of the Constitution, shall possess and retain the status of autonomous units together with residuary powers, and exercise all powers and functions of government and administration, save and except such powers and functions as are vested in or assigned to the Union, or as are inherent or implied in the Union or resulting therefrom, and wherein all the powers and authority of the sovereign independent India, its constituent parts and organs of government are derived from the people, and wherein shall be guaranteed and secured to all the people of India justice, social, economic, and political, equality of status of opportunity, and before the law, freedom of thought, expression, belief, faith, worship, vocation, association, and action, subject to law and public morality, and wherein adequate safeguards shall be provided for minorities, backward and tribal areas, and depressed and other backward classes, and whereby shall be maintained the integrity of the territory of the Republic and its sovereignty, rights on land, sea, and air, according to justice and the law of civilized nation. And this ancient land attains its rightful and honored place in the world, and make its full and willing contribution to the promotion of world peace and the welfare of mankind. This resolution was unanimously adopted by the Assembly on January 22, 1947. It influenced the eventual shaping of the Constitution through all its subsequent stages. Its modified version forms the preamble of the present Constitution.